Fnatic's turn to ban. Ten seconds remaining.
Ah, come on.
DC's turn to ban. Fnatic's turn to ban. Ten seconds remaining. 5 seconds remaining. Reserve time.
Actually cost to make, and it's dude, they're like shitty Chinese headphones. No offense to China, but it's not high quality. No, but that's why it's like outsourced. Like they made them as cheap as possible with like child labor. It's not a good product to support.
Dr. Dre name.
And they're marked up like 10x, like 1,000%.
Reserve time.
Yeah.
Treant Protector.
€2.
That's kind of nuts.
Turn to pick.
Wow.
Yeah, right.
Well, there you go, guys. Avoid beats by Dre at all costs.
That's the take home from this.
You know, you don't want to be that guy in the airport that everyone's like, you wasted $150 on Beats by Dre.
But some other person that has Beats can, or like really wanted Beats can be like, hey, that guy's got Beats.
I take that as, that's like when I go on a date with a girl and I see she drives a PT Cruiser. I'm like, I'm
that's
out.
it. I'm done,
I'm out.
See you later. It is a awful looking car.
It's a Chrysler, and they tried to like remake an old style van and then make it new agey. It's just hideous.
It's awful.
Well, but Shane, there are some things that are just inexcusable, man.
Yeah.
How do you...
10 seconds remaining.
Oh, God.
Yeah, I'm not a big fan of the PT Cruiser. I don't think anybody is here in America, but...
So what do we got here?
DC's turn to pick.
Right.
Invoker.
Fnatic's turn to ban.
Yeah. And they did have the Treant Protector for Dubu last night in the games they played.
Remaining.
And Andy and I were watching and we noticed, well, Dubu's getting killed all the time. But the good thing is, even though he was dying maybe 10, 11, 12 times towards the end of the game, he was still making a lot of space for his team just by sitting tops, pushing the waves out, and making sure they had space to get that farm that they really needed. And eventually, he gets the 90 GPM talent or whatever it is. He finds enough money to get that Blink Dagger, and all of a sudden, he's super useful. The Blink Overgrowth is so strong in that game that they played.
But look at this, a second pick Invoker. Correct me if I'm wrong here, but pretty rare to see Invoker picked up this early on in a draft.
Yeah, I think it's a little surprising, but they have a good Invoker player, so... Yeah.
Ten seconds remaining. 5 seconds remaining.
I think it's I'm back, by the way. Sorry.
Welcome back, Andy.
The thing about Invoker is that he loses his lane pretty frequently. That's the thing about the hero, is like his early laning phase is pretty abysmal. So if you don't have any outside influence, you're pretty much gonna lose to like every other mid that's picked. Shane is correct about the Ember Invoker matchup. Tornado like owns Ember super hard.
Right.
But it's one of those heroes that is a little bit reliant on having someone create space for him. So I think that's why we haven't seen him as much, and also why we haven't seen him in this phase. But like you mentioned, Abed is a very talented Invoker player. Definitely a comfort pick.
And Andy, I was mentioning Dubu's performance on the Treant Protector last night, as we saw. It was a little rough, but you know what? He did what he needed to do, to be honest, making sure he could.
He kept drawing like 2 or 3 heroes to the other side of the map, and his cores got items.
10
It's pretty good
seconds
stuff.
remaining.
And
5 seconds remaining. Reserve time.
and it's a QO hero as well, I believe.
Mm-hmm.
We've seen a little bit of it. We saw it yesterday.
But
yeah,
it was a tri-lane safe lane Ember, which did not end up doing very well because Ember wants levels really bad.
Yep. So, all right, a couple more bans coming out. We talked about the PA, the Bristleback, of course, very strong. Currently in this patch, a lot of Bristlebacks picked up, especially in the safe lane. And then the Legion Commander banned out as well in terms of an offlaner. Very strong. The Purge, pretty good as well from the Press the Attack. So here it is. Fnatic will go for the Pudge. And we saw this earlier on in the tournament. What you mentioned, it was in combination with the Crystal Maiden. And that's why you liked it so much as well, Andrew.
No, that's very true. I'm trying to pull up my notes here. Which game was it? That was the Newbie versus IGV group stage BO1. It was Newbie that played the Pudge.
Yeah, the Kaka Pudge. Yeah, that's right.
But that was against a Wisp, Sand King, Sven, Spirit Breaker, and Invoker lineup. So still against the Invoker.
10 seconds remaining. 5 seconds remaining. Reserve time.
Yeah. Yeah, but now we'll see the Nyx Assassin come out. Great Nyx game, 3 heroes that do a lot of AoE damage that you can't really control, so pretty much guaranteed spike carapace stuns, setups for the Impale or whatever the hell it's called, his little spiky thing there.
Oof, the vision.
Yep, and there you go. Beastmaster, very nice for heroes like Pudge and Ember Spirit. A lot of catch now on the side of Fnatic, right? A lot of ways to start fights and then follow up, whether it's Pudge with a hook or Earth Spirit with a kick, Blink in with a roar. You've got a lot of ways to catch these guys out.
5 seconds remaining. Reserve time.
It's true to a certain extent, but look at the way that Fnatic have drafted. Like, what about their team makes you think they're going to want a 5-man a lot? Like, their heroes actually don't... I mean, yeah, I guess they could last pick something that hits buildings, and that would, like, enable their 5-man, but I'm not looking at this lineup and thinking to myself, oh man, they definitely want to just, like, both be in the same place at the same time. I think that Treant is just a lane securing hero. Like, that's the purpose of him. You just walk around and you punch things, and occasionally Leech Seed. And Nyx is probably going to be off lane, so I think more than anything, they just want to try to make sure that they have a stable laning phase for the Invoker, because that's, like, his biggest issue.
Remaining.
So having...
5 seconds remaining.
Yeah, that's
Reserve
true.
time.
Yeah, it's definitely possible. Like you mentioned, Invoker's timing is not super fast, but the Lifestealer combo with the Nyx is another thing that is pretty countered by heavy 5-man. So we'll see if Fnatic do want to go like the path of the safe lane SF like they did last game. I still think SF is pretty good here if you wanted to run it safe lane. You got a lot of protection, you got a vision hero, and it also enables you to be S5, which Fnatic already proved in the last game that they can do quite well.
All right.
5 seconds
Absolutely.
remaining.
I like the Lifestealer in combo with the Nyx. It's a classic combo. We've seen definitely the comfort zone for Digital Chaos, right? But I think of Pudge as one of the better heroes to deal with Lifestealer. You've got 2 damage, well, the hook goes through his rage, and also just a lockdown that goes through his rage. So 2 abilities, relatively good against him. That's true. That's true. Uh-huh. Yeah.
It is. They're trying to bait spells with the way they're going to initiate. Like most of the time, the lifestealer is going to be inside someone else. Like he's not like he has 2 vessels now,
Fnatic's
potentially 3
turn
if you
to
want to count the
pick.
tree. But I usually only think of Blink Buyers as like true Nyx vessels, so the Sand King and the Nyx. And in that sense, you have a way of getting into the fight and potentially killing the Beastmaster before he gets a chance to roar, or you're just waiting
10
for the roar to come
seconds
out
remaining.
and then you go in, right? So maybe they roar Invoker instead. Then your lifestealer has free reign.
5 seconds remaining. 10 seconds. Naga Siren.
Okay.
Uh,
I can't say because I'll spoil. I have to wait.
no, you're good now. You're good now. The
So,
boy.
a couple of things. I like the Sand King last pick from DC for a couple of reasons. 1, 5 melee on Fnatic. It's not a single ranged hero. So Caustic is going to do absolute work this game, and I think that DC's laning phase will actually be quite strong. My biggest concern with heroes like Support Pudge is that most of the time you're looking for frail targets. You know, you're walking around, you're picking up bounty runes, and you're trying to find like a Rubik or a CM or a Lion or something to walk into and kill. Not gonna find a squishy hero in this game.
Kind of felt really like that last pick. It destroys and walk in the middle. The 1v1 matchup is really difficult.
10 seconds remaining. 5 seconds remaining.
In my opinion, it's a nice win this game. It looks very strong. I like it a lot.
I'm going to have to agree with you, Shane. I got some faith in the Pudge here, but Digital Chaos also have a lot of options. You know, like Bulba Nyx Assassin with Mason Lifestealer. That's a combo that can find a lot of recovery kills, even if the early game doesn't go the way that they want. So, should be pretty action-packed. I'm excited to see a QO Naga Siren and see what he brings to the table. Alrighty, well here we go. We'll tally up the compendiums, and my god, Fnatic, they're out of control. 1,500 on QO. This guy is passionate about his battle level.
Fnatic's
1,500.
just making it rain dollars. That's all they care about.
Yeah, for real. All right, here we go. Game number 2. Again, an elimination series. Fnatic leads 1-0 over Digital Chaos. We've got Annie and Draskell again to take it away.
Well, thank you very much, Sayori, and welcome back, Draskell. Already going to be a hype matchup. You talked about Fnatic just going in and making it all melee cores, but that Naga is such a good last pick. I mean, Shane mentioned it. She should be able to dominate mid. What are the timings of these two teams? When do they want to be, hitting their apex?
It's a bit interesting since they swapped the Nyx to support for DC. I think that obviously DC want to pressure. You don't want to just let the game go super late against Naga Ember cores. They're both relatively mobile on their own right. Very hard to gank Naga, very hard to gank the Ember on top of that. So I think the timing for Fnatic is, if we don't win the early game, whatever, we'll just stall, because DC pretty much only have one reliable hero at hitting towers. And then we'll just try to get the lane equilibrium game going for us, similar to what DC wanted to do in game 1. Whereas DC, you get a blink on Forev, potentially have a good laning phase, and you have a lifestealer, so you just fight all the time. And then eventually you're going to have this Nyx with Vendetta, which is additional scouting information, whereas Fnatic are going to have their Beastmaster for their vision game. So it should be pretty close in my opinion. I don't know if I really favor one draft one way or the other. I think if DC execute really well, they can crush it. But if they don't, you're going to have Naga.
Yeah, definitely Naga problems indeed. And depending on how late this goes, there could be a ton of split push put out by the Ember Spirit as well. So again, like you mentioned, similar to how DC played last game, where, yeah, DC can be fighting, but there's probably going to be a Naga or an Ember constantly pressuring your lane. So Fnatic definitely going to be keeping an eye out for that map control. Just, they're relaxed. They've got a Naga Siren. They're not scared of taking this a little bit late. Invoker, is he going to have a really tough time mid lane here, or should Abed still be able to get the farm he needs to start a nice mid game for himself?
I think he'll get a little bit of farm. He's definitely not going to be harassing out Naga though. 7 base armor and a poor man shield, good freaking luck. That hero just does not take damage. But it's not going to be like the first game where QO just had like this massive advantage and just crushed it. He'll do alright, but I don't think Abed will be suffering as much as he will.
Yeah, absolutely. You can already see Naga scoring up some last hits. Invoker still 0-0. And, well, QO just going to be going at it, but you guys mentioned in the draft that DC's whole lineup is basically just Sunstrike setup in that mid game when Invoker's kind of bailing out a lane, dipping into the jungle. They've got so much initiation and so much hold that Invoker should be able to get off really solid Sunstrikes on whichever target gets jumped.
That's why I'm like looking at this bottom lane. We saw something very similar yesterday where there was an aggro dual lane with a Sand King, and it just dominated. Like, it just destroyed their opponents. I think it was DC who was the one who was getting wrecked by that dual lane. I can't remember off the top of my head, but either way. Yeah, Sunstrikes on top of stuns, on top of Caustic. It's no, it was the exact same dual lane, yeah. It was the exact same heroes, the Nyx and the Sand King.
Yeah, double bug strat works again. I'm really looking forward to this Pudge. Like we mentioned, the Beastmaster going to be adding so much vision, so Hook should be on point. I mean, what does Febby need to do on that Pudge just to have an A+ game?
That's kind of what I'm asking myself right now. I'm like, how the hell does he do anything in this situation? Normally what Pudges do, if they find a part of the map they can pressure, is they go around, they look for the bounty runes, they try to find supports that are like by themselves, and then they just run at you with Rot. Like that's how they influence the early game. But if DC just have strong static lanes, the only thing he can really do is get bounties and like try to get whatever experience and gold he can via pulse, which is what he's doing right now. So I think in this situation, what he's doing is pretty much his best of a bad situation.
Yeah, he'll definitely take a long time with those levels. Will not have Dismember for a while. So hopefully the rest of his team can hold out, can wait on those lockdowns. Cubo taking a bunch of damage mid, but just going to be bottling up and has a little bit more regen if necessary. So things, like you mentioned, pretty static for now. Not a whole lot of blood being shed or even attempts for it. It seems like both teams are content just, you know, not touching each other, farming up, soaking levels. When's going to be the tipping point? When does one team want to get in there and start feasting?
I think it's just about whoever gets out of position in this bottom lane. I think that's most likely where we're going to be seeing a kill. It could actually be top 2 if Ohio's not careful.
For now, he's just harassing back the tree, having a fun time. Now roll in, they do clip Forev, but he's got that Burrow Strike. Now double impale from Bulba, pops out the Carapace, and there's just going to be a bit of a stalemate. So yeah, pretty difficult. Very tanky heroes so far for DC. You guys were talking in draft about how Pudge thrives on going in for those unexpected picks on squishy heroes, but well, Fnatic, they're not going to find themselves squishy heroes. DC have a very tanky lineup.
It is pretty cool to have a support Pudge though, even in a game like this, because as I think it was Larry or Mount, one of them mentioned something about like Dismember being very good against Lifestealer, which is true. I have to hold that thought though. Now getting punched here in the top lane.
Yeah, I'll make it back just fine. He's got a full self.
Yeah, so the thing about Pudge is, in a support capacity, it doesn't really matter if the Lifestealer counters you, because you're a support hero. You know, if you're a core Pudge, then maybe it's a little bit worse, because, you know, you have farm priority. But if Febby hooks and gets a full Dismember on a Lifestealer and then dies after, who cares? You disable that Lifestealer for like 3 or 4 seconds, and then your other cores are doing work during that time. So even though he might not have the best early game, he's still going to be able to offer some lane pressure. He's still going to be able to throw out defensive and offensive hooks and offer a BKB disable later on.
Lane looks like we're shaping up for a gank. Smoke onto Febby and DJ. Febby's got that level 1 hook. He's got to be smart with it though. If they can catch Abed off guard here, that'd be huge.
Oh, he has net skill. This is almost a 100%. There's no way Abed's expecting Hero to have net. Or maybe he does. Maybe he's a god. Jesus.
He's his spidey senses are tingling, man. I tell you what. Just gonna be going in and may push in a little bit too far here. Pudge now getting in range of that level 1 hook. Man, Abed, I mean, does he know?
They know because they're playing. Look at how aggressive they're playing on Ajit bottom. That's why they know. Because Bulba and Forev are able to go that ham, and neither support showed. It just gives away the smoke. So unfortunately, they didn't get across the map fast enough. I thought the gank was looking good because I thought they were moving at a pretty decent rate. But because they walked all the way around mid and didn't just go straight through behind the tower, they wasted a little bit of time, and that time in of itself was enough to give the gank. So good communication from DC dodging that, because it would have been a kill 100% if they land the net.
Looks like they might go for a round 2. That ward going down here, but yeah, just a level 1 hook, no Aether Lens. Certainly not able to catch Abed out from that far. And down bottom, you did see Ajit forced back Nyx Assassin, gotten a little bit aggressive on him. Ooh, hook actually connects here. Abed gonna be going in, gets the Ghost Walk off, and they have no detection, so nothing to deal with that. I feel like detection's gonna be a big thing for Fnatic with a Tramp Protector, a Nyx, and clearly Abed that's capable of just going in, snapping up that Ghost Walk.
Anyway.
Yep, the Rot doing a lot of work for him. QO staying on top of him. There is going to be that little tornado coming out, but it's not enough. Febby scores first blood. Going to boost up that Pudge in terms of levels. A little bit of gold going his way as well. So, yeah, nice early kill for a support. Great rotation mid, and Naga is feeling really comfortable in lane. 41-9 to Invoker's 28-7.
Well, he did have to sit pretty much under his tower for a while, so yeah. It's unfortunate how much pressure he's getting just from those heroes being off the map, and he did such a good job at avoiding the gank, and then was out of mana, sitting there without being able to invoke any spell, and just ate a hook after a net, and then just dies anyway. That's pretty annoying. But if you look at the way the lanes are shaping up, you know, DCR is still ahead, even with the first blood going the way of Fnatic.
Yep, Lifestealer getting a lot top lane. I mean, Mason, he's got a couple of vessels here. How long does he want to sit top lane before he starts moving with his team and hopping in for a ride?
I think you want to wait for a blink, honestly. Unless, like, unless Fnatic are going, like, super aggressive under a tower, you probably don't move.
Speaking of aggressive, looks like our Pudge may end up taking one for the team. A Sunstrike comes in, does some damage, but it's split 3 ways. There's going to be that Burrow Strike, locking down 2 Radiant Cores. They will be able to find the Trio Protector, but now DJ in some trouble. Impale up in 2 more seconds. Looks like Bulba should be able to snap this one up with 1 more click of the pincers. And Farev with a reinitiation onto the Ember Spirit. He's only level 5. Oh, if they can find this kill, that'd be huge. But a hook comes back in from Febby, chasing down the Sand King with the Rot. It's slow going, but they should be able to find the kill. There's the Sunstrike, and not going to connect onto Ajit.
I just can't believe how well this dual lane always does. Like, I see Nick's Sand King, and I'm like, okay, that's a weird lane. But the thing is, you can't really commit to either of them because they're both just very, very tanky heroes. Sand King 5 armor, has a 4-man shield. The Nyx has carapace and boots, so we can just walk it off. It's a very interesting dual lane, but it's seen a lot of success here at the ZOTAC Cup.
We'll see if they can keep it up. Again, both of those heroes probably trying for a blink. Farev, that's at the top of his mind. He's got it already queued up in that quick buy. So we'll see if he's going to be able to get it at a decent timing. Nice initiation there. They go for the hook, and they do find Farev. Nice little fish's wish there. Farev will end up going down. They have to trade for the Earth Spirit, but still overall a great trade.
Yeah, I'll take that one any day of the week. I mean, look at the CS comparatively. Like, Ohio's catching up now because the wave is under his tower a lot of the time. But, you know, 2 or 3 minutes ago, the Sand King was doubling up the CS, and Forev has died twice in a row, and it still has more CS. Yeah, that kill is absolutely huge. Making the Blink Dagger timing slower, getting your Naga more items before you have to worry about that Blink Epicenter with the Lifestealer bomb, is a pretty terrifying thing for Fnatic, so delaying it is going to be great for them.
Yep, QO, I mean, again, sitting pretty in mid lane. Naga, I mean, having about the lane you'd expect. Do you think DC should be trying to rotate in and check her? Because all she wants to do is farm. She'll farm until the cows come home. But she's off to a great start. Is that something DC can afford?
I think they can, as long as they take the fights properly once their core items come out.
They're going to make a go of it here. Epicenter debuted. They bring in DJ, though. It's a nice big stun. Sunstrike comes through. Naga in some trouble, trying to sing. Is she going to get out for song? QO does end up going down. Febby goes for another hook. There will be a Burrow Strike back out, and the Pudge drops as well. That's a twofer. Fnatic, they tried to get their supports in there to help. Oh, DJ rolling back. Invoker, is he going to have that Sunstrike?
He already used it to kill the... Oh, he has 10 stick charges. Does he go for it? Oh, he scans. He's going to go for it, I think.
He sees maybe? DJ walking up the hill.
Oh!
Just a fraction of an inch off. DJ will live. Just going to shrine up and right back to getting. So right as we were talking about the Naga needing to get checked, there is a gank in. DC staying on top of that.
I think he could have lived there, to be honest. I think it was a bit of a misplay because he got the mirror image off, which dispels the cold snap, but he didn't song afterwards, even though he lived for like an additional 1 or 2 seconds, had a salve and a bottle in his inventory with charges. So if he like songed immediately and then just salve bottle, he walks away 100%. A little bit of an execution error there, but you know, he's still the highest farmer, so it's not gonna set him back too much in the grand scheme of things.
Yeah, was that just panic, or was he intentionally trying to save the song for a better fight?
I think he thought he was going to live. I think that's how he saw the situation. It's like, oh, I might actually be fine if I just walk away. Top lane, Ohio.
Top lane, yeah, but mid lane's about to go down too. We got Naga Siren finally getting that song off. Hook comes back in. They've got a dust, so no Ghost Walk saving you this time. And Abed will end up dropping. Drops a futile meatball in the air as he goes. But, yep, there was a kill top like you mentioned. Mason and Dubu teaming up to finally take out that pesky Beastmaster. And Mason's having a really nice time here, switching over to net worth, going to be matching up with the Naga on the top of the chart.
He's also got his Midas coming out too, so his net worth is going to just get propelled that much further. I mean, Lifestealer is not really the matchup you want to play against Naga, especially during a late game, because if you rage and the Naga songs, you're by yourself and you get netted for the net worth. It's not a great experience, but Ohio actually seeming to be okay here.
Radiant structure.
He's
He's
playing
got a
this
pretty
one
good amount of
safe.
levels too.
Yeah, already level 8 for him on the offlane. Sand King, by comparison, just ticks to that 8 right now, so Ohio almost a full level up. Mason looking to keep that in check. I mean, he's hungry. Goes in, bites Ohio. Still 13 seconds till that Primal Roar comes back in. And Febby going to be going, swinging a miss onto that Siege creep, but it is all but obvious where that Lifestealer's hanging out. Sunstrike off the mark, so everyone from Fnatic just getting a chance to regroup and potentially able to go push onto this Lifestealer. They're pinging him out. They want him. And they know his Infest is down for 80 more seconds.
It's pretty hard to walk into him at that angle, though. Yeah, he's just going to leave. Very nicely done. Oh, Ohio Smoke actually got revealed, so yeah. He spots it out. He's just going to walk to the other side of the map. Good move from Mason. Doesn't want to stick around and just give away a free kill. It's pretty obvious when stuff like that happens. Oh, the Beastmaster's walking past like two full free players over. What are you going to do? Kill the
Oh, speaking of killing, down bot our Ember Spirit in a whole heap of trouble. Sunstrike there, but not even needed to finish him off. Mason gets that last hit. I mean, Ember Spirit, he had 3 remnants, but the lockdown is so severe on DC. When they want to go for a kill, when they're willing to commit their ultimates for it, it's done. Now mid lane, potentially some trouble with the Naga Siren. There's no song on her. They're bringing in more than enough heroes to get the job done, and Bulba finally rakes one in for himself.
Yeah, they have a tremendous amount of stun lock. And whenever you get a kill like that on the Naga Siren, again, delaying that Radiance timing, delaying the bots and the inevitable Manta Octarine build that we're most likely going to see, it just buys them more and more space. So we're looking now.
What a hook out from Febby, just doing some quick calculus to find the angle there. Forev able to juke back up to the high ground, but they bring an Ajit, spraying out the Veil. One more Remnant will get the kill, so pretty heavy invest there from Fnatic, but they find what they're looking for. Fnatic definitely need to get some steam going for themselves. They lost their Naga and their Ember Spirit within just a couple of seconds of each other, and they can't afford to let their cores keep dropping like that.
Well, they get something in return at least. I didn't actually know that Febby had a push, but apparently he does. So you learn something every day.
Just thread the needle right there. He's thinking about another hook. And gonna be pretty tricky to get Mason there. A little bit of a miss, and Bulba, of course, giving vision to what's going on. They are gonna commit the Primal Roar for this. Roll back in. Lifestealer, he's gonna be raging out. Gonna be plopping in and out of that Infest, trying to take out Ohio. Does Ohio have the survivability? Looks like Mason is able to go take out the Earth Spirit, but Ohio's still alive. And the Lifestealer does drop. Now Bulba makes his way back on through. Huo, though, brings the net. They've got Forev threatening out that epicenter. Sunstrike just way off the mark there. Ohio decides to juke back, and Mason very upset about the whole situation, understandably.
Yeah, he kind of did just get 4-man ganked, so it's a little bit rough. He got a counter kill, though. I mean, he wasn't going to live in that situation. Like, he pops the rage knowing that he's going to die basically no matter what, so he just tries to get whatever guaranteed value he can out of the rage duration, and then just kind of knows that he's a goner. But yeah, DC's still leading in the overall net worth right now. Not by a huge margin, but the Blink Dagger is now done on 4F. The death that he got hooked by from Febby delayed his blink a little bit. But now that he has it, the Infest bombs are going to start being plentiful.
Yeah, we saw how much damage Lifestealer can do with just that level 1 Infest, so looking forward to it. Again, Fnatic are all melee, so if Rev can get himself deep in the fight, plop out the Infest between 3-4 heroes, I mean, that's a lot of Fnatic's health gone. We'll see how they're going to be playing this. So far, DC starting to wad a little bit tighter together. It's kind of giving up on some of their lanes. Of course, you got Abed now taking his vacation from mid lane, just going to be pushing out whatever lane is free, finishing off his Aghanim Scepter, and hoping his teammates can set him up some nice Sunstrike kills.
That should be quite easy. I don't see, like, any hero they catch is pretty much dead. If no one's, like, behind to back them up, even if they are. If Mason's inside of them and he gets out straight away with the Armlet Rage, I don't know if they can actually be saved unless they get hooked.
Fnatic, they're going to take this opportunity to push. Again, they've got a draft that can really hang out to the late game, so already getting things started at 15 minutes in. Any map advantage they secure is going to help that Naga push out, help the lanes go their way, but looks like there will be a trade. Mason getting a chance to eat on this mid tier 1 tower. Let's see if there's going to be any response to this tier 2. It's melting down pretty quickly. We've got Doodles on the map, DC trying to stay out of this area here, but for now it seems like Fnatic can't quite find the damage they need to bring that tower down right away.
Well, they're sticking around here because this is where their ward coverage is. If you look at the map, this is the area which they have the most comfort fighting because they have wards everywhere. So if DC were to fight them there, it would be great. Oh man, going out again.
Oh yeah, that's just deep dive there onto the Invoker. Or onto the Naga, rather.
That's such a greedy place to be, though. Like, they just kill your tier 1, and you have so much vision around top, and you see no one, and you're still farming. That was nice DP there.
Yep. So, either way, tier 2 does go down, but they do trade for that Naga Siren who was trying to just take a little vacation into the jungle. So, I mean, is that overall okay for Fnatic? They're still getting some good map advantage, and like you mentioned, they've got great coverage in this area. The sentries making sure there's no sneaky Nyx assassin, no tree ants looking to punch you up.
Well, the vision is pretty much there to ensure that they get the tower. So once the tower is dead, the vision is now really only useful for when you're setting up ganks, which can be great if DC were ever up there, but they haven't been. You know, they're just like running around looking for the other cores, trying to find Ajit, trying to find QO, and they're connecting, right? So they're finding these kills, delaying the items. It's 17 minutes in, and QO was doing fantastic in the laning phase and still doesn't have the radius yet. So it's not concerning to a huge degree, but it can be if he keeps dying like this.
Yeah, definitely gotta stay safe, but like we talked about, DC, they've got really good vision coming out. The Nyx's gonna be crawling forward, the Treant Protector able to go, and like you mentioned, as soon as DC actually find prey, it's pretty easy to get the kill if they've got just a couple of heroes there. So, gonna keep that momentum up. DC always gonna be hunting. And our Treant Protector, he's got that Midas queued up, so definitely looking to keep his farm going, take this into the late game, stay relevant.
I'm kind of wondering, you know, Fnatic, when they're actually going to try to take a fight, or if they're just going to decide that DC just have the advantage in these skirmishes, so we'll just kind of let them do what they want and hope that, you know, the Naga eventually comes online and carries us. Because if you look at the Ember farm, it's not really spectacular. He's got like 78 CS. His net worth is not bad, but it's still pretty far below either of the cores on the side of DC, so Ajit's not feeling super confident fighting. It just seems like DC have the advantage in regards of map control, even though, oh god, Ohio, see a goner?
Yeah, he's being followed up. Bulba taking his time with it. Goes in, misses the Impale though, and there's going to be a missed Infest gank as well. Ohio at least going to go down swinging, will eventually be brought down. Mason snaps up another kill, but a little bit sloppier than it needed to be from DC.
But still, it's just more map control. Fnatic are moving completely different than they were earlier. They're just like, nope, don't want any part of this. We're just going to walk to the other side of the map. And every time they do this, you know, DC get a little bit farther ahead. So they take a tier 1 for a tier 2 trade originally. But then they find QO after the fact. Then they find Ohio. So now they're just like slowly but surely establishing this net worth lead over time.
Ooh, nice silence here. Prevents the overgrowth from the Treant Protector. And he will drop, but just a support kill. Those cores still up and fighting. Abed now with the full Aghanim Scepter. And just going to be picking up the Boots of Travel next for even more global presence. DC really starting to shape up. I mean, are they hitting a point where they're just going to be fighting right now?
I think so. They could also...
Ooh, yeah, wow. That Naga dropped like a neutral creep. There was so much damage coming out. And that's Naga's 4th death this game. Really not able to stay safe. And you've got really great wards coming out of DC. Really great vision too. This Beastmaster hasn't been able to keep the ward game going. He's struggling, and now does get clipped by that Burrow Strike. The rest of Fnatic going to make a hold here. They don't want to give away their tier 2 for free. Roll in pretty deep, though. There is going to be EMP trying to force out the Radiant Heroes. All the mana burned up from Beastmaster. He still has 1 Primal Roar left, but he's just going to be completely chain stunned. DC on a roll. They're all going to get magnetized, but they don't even care. They're all still alive. They take 4. The only survivor up top is Ajit, who's going to go push some tier 3s. He's taking this opportunity just to go F off from the rest of his teammates. He knows they can't take a fight right now, and just trying to apply some split push, but that was just DC swinging ahead. My goodness. Oh, wow. Are they actually going to get this kill again? They're just chain killing QO. There's a Sunstrike to set it up, and she dies. She tries singing before she goes down, but she's just done. Oh, man.
So there's really only one thing that I glean from this game is that you know, QO is obviously a very good player, but I don't think he's comfortable on Naga. I don't think that's a hero that suits his style. I think they picked it for him because they wanted him to play it with this draft, but I don't think after having watched, you know, the stuff that he does that he plays it a lot. I don't know, I could be wrong, but it seems like he is out of position a ton on this hero, and a lot of the time that stems from the fact that you're not used to playing like.
Oh, Nyx walking under a sentry, has the infest bomb going out. It looks like Nyx may have hit in the bucket. Nice Carapace, actually going to save his life. He's still alive, Invoker gets a 3-man tornado into the EMP as well. Febby gets destroyed, and now Bulba does finally go down. But not before they get another kill out of it. It looked like just a clean pick on the Nyx, but still some serious pressure from DC. And speaking of pressure, Dubu pounding on those tier 3s. QO's back alive, but can hardly leave base. This Naga just all of a sudden got crippled. She was top of the net worth, but now dropping down to 3rd.
She basically hasn't gotten any money for like 5 minutes. That's really, really bad. I don't know. It's strange to me because a lot of the stuff that's happening, especially the kill when he died in the jungle, that was one of those deaths that you can't really imagine happening too often because it's just such an obvious movement and you're farming in the obvious spot. So they check the first and foremost spot where you would be farming if they kill your tier 1 and then you're there and then you die. So it's a little bit strange, but you know, Fnatic's still in the game because they do, again, have a Naga Siren. It's never over when you have a Naga.
Yep, I mean, she's got the Radiant. She can apply Split Push along with the Ember Spirit, but like you mentioned, our Ember, and not getting larger than life, he's hanging out right around the net worth of the Naga Siren. So what does Ajit need to do to get really huge here? Is it just sitting back and farming? Is it going for solo pickoffs on DC? It's difficult.
I think it's not a very good Ember game, to be honest. It's very difficult to play Ember in the mix. They're looking for Dubu here.
Yeah, I mean, there's so many heroes rotating in for this Treant Protector. It is gobbling resources left and right. They finally will find him. Overgrowth can be burned out. Now Invoker TPing in. Farev brings in some friends. They're going to be able to turn this right around, getting the kill on the Beastmaster before he has a chance to go for the Primal Roar. There is going to be some damage dumped up by the Ember Spirit here, but is it going to be enough? A Naga Siren Sleep comes through. They've got the Sand King on lock. Farev, though, going to Burrow Strike out, and they're going to take this chance to try to go ahead and feast on the Ember Spirit. Naga Siren trying to run. QO baiting around. They kill off the illusions. They figure out which one's real, and oh no, Naga Siren going down again. She's just been chain killed. That's her 6th death. She had such a great early lane start, but just can't find anything. Oh man.
The heroes just don't care about like her chip damage, I guess you could say. So you walk into a team fight against a Nyx as a Naga Siren or an Ember, and Carapace just destroys you. It's a guaranteed 2.5-second stun, which sets up another stun, which potentially sets up, you know, Epicenter or Invoker combo, Meteor, EMP, Sunstrike, Deafening, whatever. So there's a multitude of spells that just get dropped on you if the Nyx is just there. That is like the worst experience in the entire world playing like Naga or Ember. And that's the problem, right? It counters both cores simultaneously. And because the Naga doesn't have enough items to live through this like chain of initiation yet, it's really hard for them to just take a fight.
Yeah, I mean, we talked about Fnatic being comfortable dipping into the late game here, but it's feeling like that Naga and the Ember are just kind of fizzling, and DC can keep them punched down, keep them poor, and their net worth is just balling right now. Almost 15,000 going their way.
Yeah, they're doing extremely well this game. I really like their draft because of the dual offlane. It's so ironic too because they played against us yesterday, and it also owned them. So they basically just took it and said, "We like this. Let's try this now," and it's working out amazingly well for them. Makes a lot of sense too after seeing the Invoker second.
Yeah, Invoker's had a pretty nice time. Picked up the Aghanim Scepter right around when he should be, and now Roshan going to be coming out for DC pretty soon. I mean, Fnatic, they're all clumped together. They're trying to push in this bot lane. They do get a sentry down, so if Dubu pokes his head out, they could find a tree kill, but I mean, at what cost is Roshan melting very quickly?
Radiant's middle tower is under attack.
Yeah,
We'll see.
Testing this. It's just that. And the problem is they're actually going to fight bottom too. They're hard, so maybe they won't be able to get there, or won't be able to get there at least unscouted.
Yeah, speaking of unscouted, they do see the tree now. They get the silence off on him. They're starting to dump ultimates. They commit the magnetize. Pudge still no dismember for him, so that's a tree kill, but now there's huge pressure coming out for the rest of the lanes. Mason looking to go in for that next infest gank, and Farev now not only has the Blink Dagger, but the Force and the Yules as well. The Sand King is just all about control. He wants to get in those fights and really make Fnatic scramble, keep them locked down, make sure they can't move out.
It doesn't take much with their lineup, to be fair. I mean, none of the heroes really have an escape on the support side or the offlane side. It's pretty much just Naga and Ember who can, you know, get themselves out. Oh man, QO is going to receive another gank here.
Oh man, Naga's 7th death incoming. This is starting to seem like some middle school bully shit. That's terrible.
Yeah, they just pretty much stole his lunch money. They just pinned him up against the locker and just robbed him.
Dude, I think putting him in a locker is mercy at this point. He's just getting killed over and over. And like you talked about, just hasn't gotten money for the last 10 minutes of the game. I mean, got an alright Radiance timing. Still has those boots of travel, so can start to pressure lanes. But anytime DC get eyes on that Naga is dead.
Again, though, it's like he's getting caught out a lot of the time in obvious spots. And he's also not farming around where he has wards. I mean, sure, they were small there. Okay, there we go.
Yep, high ground push coming in. Sand King diving really deep to start this fight off. Currently not going to get punished for it. Ajit is going to be able to go through. And it looks like DC, they missed a little bit of their initiation. They didn't quite get the start they wanted. Didn't start off with a pick on those squishy supports like the Pudge or the Earth Spirit. So they'll just back out and not going to overcommit themselves. I like that choice.
Yeah, there's no reason to at the moment. They didn't have everyone on the team too. That's the most important part. Like the Invoker didn't have bots up. Or wait, did he? Away. Maybe he TP'd away from where they were, but okay. See a song, QO, surrounded by DC once again.
I mean, he might be able to make it back to his friends here. Yeah, he's got his wad of allies, and it looks like they actually want to take a fight here. Ajit going to be leading the charge, but again, still lacking on vision. The Knicks should just be able to walk right on out of here. All these wards set up for the tier 2 have long expired, so no vision in the area. Fnatic just kind of playing with their gut. Tubu's walking around here, keeping vision of the shrine, scouting out who's backing off and who's going to be caught alone. They ping the Naga Siren, and they realize QO's the only one wrapping to mid here. Great chance to strike. QO goes in. Oh, poor Naga. She just can't find anything. She's just been chain killed 8 times in a row. Oh no, and now it looks like the rest of the Dire, they want to keep fighting. Free gets hooked in, gets dismembered, but he's just going to be going, healing himself right on up. The epicenter comes through. They've got lockdown for days as Ember Spirit gets clipped off as well. That is 2 deaths on 2 cores. Neither has buyback, and this tier 3 push is coming in now.
Kinnex and the Sand King, like dual off lane, just won the game. I mean, Mason obviously has an insane amount of farm, and Abed's played a very good game as well, but like these 2 heroes in conjunction have just secured so many kills on the Naga that it's insane. Like, QO can't be anywhere. He's just dead all the time.
Yeah, the Shane stun coming off of the Impale, the Burrow Strike, and then just the massive damage. I have not seen a bad epicenter yet out of Harev. So just, yeah, damage starting to come out. That is going to be lane and a half of super creeps coming forward. Febby maybe looking to clean up some stragglers, but for now, DC are very comfortable with their lead. Abed actually going to reinitiate. Does clip the Earth Spirit, but Sunstrike not going to be there to follow up, so they're not going to get too greedy. Again, DC, they don't need to overexert themselves right now. The Naga is crippled. They don't have to worry about her transitioning to her late game, lane pushing, yeah, stupid farmed build, but she's got nothing. She's essentially got 15-minute farm right now.
It's looking, well, maybe like 20-minute farm, but yeah, it's definitely rough. I don't really see, unless DC overextend super hard, like I'm talking almost well dive status, it's going to be very difficult for Fnatic to claw their way back into the game. The Naga needs a lot more survivability, needs Amanda, needs Octarine, you know, together. That's a huge amount of gold that he's not going to be able to just pull out of nowhere, and he doesn't really have anywhere to farm.
Maybe a kill on Abed could supplement some of that gold. They do get the Searing Chains off, but how much are they going to commit for this? The Silent comes in. He can't Ghost Walk out. Hook back in into the Dismember, but the Lincoln Sphere comes forward. Do they have vision here? And they keep track of Abed. He's just going to be blinking away, so nice jukes here. Invoker versus the world. Not even going to be the end of Invoker here. Now the rest of his allies are coming forward. Ember Spirit going to be dropping another Remnant. Lincoln Sphere popped again, but meanwhile, look who it is. It's Naga dying. Oh no. She wrapped around from the wrong angle in the fight and just totally focused down by the Knicks and the Sand King. And now Abed is going to be respawning. Does end up having to burn his Aegis, but they're going to go get a ton more kills off this. Potentially could be game, as again, Naga doesn't have buyback. They're going to pick down Ohio, which is a huge component of their high ground holds. And now going forward, Pudge trapped as well, just trying to TP back to the base from the shadow of the tier 3. This is a sad time to be Fnatic right now.
Yeah, they lost 2 of their lanes really, really hard, and the middle one they won like a little bit, but they just, you can't have your Naga die this many times. That's pretty much the whole game right there. If your Naga dies this much, and you're not getting anything else out of the deaths, like the mid-tier 1 is still alive at 30 minutes when you have a Naga. Like that's the kind of stuff that just screams, you know, we lost our lanes too hard, the early skirmishes didn't favor us. It seems like for 2 games in a row, the support combination of one team just doesn't really accomplish much of anything, and then the other one just crushes.
We'll see. Look who's back. There is going to be a net holding that Lifestealer down, but QO thinks better about pushing forward, trying to go for kills here. Does have that song ready, trying to tease it out. Tornado comes through, but won't catch the pudge, so DC not finding the initiation they're looking for right now, but they got so much time. The super farmed Lifestealer hiding out in the super farmed Invoker, who's queuing up that Octarine core. They'll have it out pretty shortly. Now Dubu getting some good vision. They see QO pushed out here. QO, man! Oh, can't lead. Now QO is going to have that Song of the Siren, but will he get rooted and locked down? It looks like Naga doesn't even get the chance to sing. And now Ohio burned low, killed off Pudge, trying to save his allies, but that's it. There's just no staying in this. Fnatic, they need to tap out. They need to keep themselves collected because we're going to a game number 3.
I'm pretty sure what happens if QO's Naga this game is illegal in most countries. We should like change the rating of the stream. Good God, they just killed him so many times. That's one thing though I just want to harken back to is, I know QO is a phenomenal mid player, but it doesn't feel like this is his style of Dota. I don't look at QO as a player who is excited to play Naga Siren. I think he wants to play heroes that can influence the game. Like even his clowny Bloodseeker pick